Welcome to another video from EarnPed.com. I am Stevie B. Happy to have you all with us today. I was just messing around in Next Island chat, and somebody brought up a very good point. So I wanted to put a video out. This is probably not going to make it out for a couple of days, which means by the time this video gets out there, there will be some people crying some tears of sorrow, and some people will be going hee 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 all the way to the bank. So for those of you who are not aware, Tuesday morning, early in the morning, we had a version update. 17.9 or something like that. Anyway, if you read the release notes, these bad boys right here, Unreal tokens, are now tradable. They are no longer account bound. They can be traded player to player. They can also be sold on auction. I mentioned this in my last video that if you look at CaliTrade, people are offering to buy and sell them left and right. Anybody want to take a moment to think about why that could be a problem? I'll give you a second. Let you think about it. That's right. Assume that you wanted to go to a different planet. Let's say that you wanted to go to Next Island or Cyrene or Arcadia, and you have Unreal tokens in your carried inventory. Well, they were soulbound until a couple hours ago, and now they're tradable. And what tab are they keeping? That's right, guys. Your hunting loot tab, where almost everything is lootable if you're shot in lootable PvP. Now notice my candy canes say cannot be traded, has no value when sold. That means it's soulbound. Notice my other stuff does not say that. That means that this other stuff is all lootable. Notice that the Unreal tokens do not say that, because the Unreal tokens can now be traded. They can be sold on auction or player to player directly. So that means if I was to fly to Next Island right now with those in my carried inventory and somebody shot me down and killed me, they would get all 14 of my Unreal tokens. That is not necessarily a good thing, because there are a lot of players who don't read the release notes, and there are some players like me who have been at work all night that read the release notes and didn't put two and two together that, oh, maybe it would be a bad thing to go into space right now with those in my inventory. So you watch over the next couple of days between the time I make this video and the time it's actually released on YouTube and you guys see it, you will hear accounts of people going through space and getting shot down. I'm sure there's a lot of pirates hanging out in space right now. Notice this guy wants to sell 140 units. That's quite a few units. He's either done a ton of hunting over the past month and a half, 2 months, or he already did some PvPing. But needless to say, there will be some people over the next day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days before this video comes out, that they will be going through space and they will notice an unusually high number of pirates in space. They will get shot down and their Unreal tokens will be taken from them. So, just letting you know, that is going to be a thing. This is why the release notes are important to read. Now, I will admit, I don't always read the release notes, mainly because I've got other things that I'm doing. However, there are a lot of players that do read the release notes, and one of the reasons I tend not to is usually I've got 5 or 6 players. I've got 2 that I can really count on, that if there's anything important in those release notes, they'll usually just let me know. Like, I was literally at work, and a buddy of mine got up specifically to read the release notes, and I gave him my phone number, and he just texted me at like 5:15 in the morning and was like, hey, here's the important things you need to know. Cool. I really appreciate that. That makes my life a lot easier. Because the other problem that we have is sometimes the release notes aren't always easy to find. Sometimes you have to go to not just one place, but several. Because not only will there be like a release that Mindark puts out for Planet Calypso, but a lot of times the Planet Partners have their own set of release notes that update specifically what they've done. One of the things that was done on Next Island, one of the reasons I was in Next Island chat, is Next Island now has a second part to the crossover mission between Next Island and Cyrene from back in December, where you can actually get a second plushie. You have to have the note on you, and you have to have the original plushie on you. However, you can now get a second plush reward for something you've already done. So that's pretty cool, because as you guys know, I'm totally pro plushie platform. I think we need more plush. I think it just makes everybody's life better, and it makes everybody a little bit happier. When you have a bad day hunting, bad day mining, bad day crafting, you lose a lot of money. You just go grab your favorite plush out of storage and cuddle with it and cry tears of sadness. But it helps. Plus, it's just a cool aspect of the game, in my personal opinion. That's why I collect plush. Not all the plush, but some of the plush. There's other things that Next Island's done. There's other things that the other Planet partners have done. So the release notes are very, very important if you take the game seriously at all. I just get lucky that I have other people that read them, decipher them, and then let me know the highlights, which comes in super duper handy dandy for me. So big shout out to those guys. Now, that said, there's also something that we learned about the 20th anniversary event today. With this update, new 20th anniversary items have been added to the loot pool. We were not given more information than that. So we're right back to we don't know what we're looking for and we don't know what to hunt. Supposedly you just hunt absolutely anything, and there's a chance that it will drop. However, what we did learn is now there are Planet Partner specific 20th anniversary items. So 20th anniversary items that can only be looted on Cyrene, on Arcadia, on Next Island, on Monria, Tulun, etc. Now, that said, I don't know how accurate the information is. I'm assuming, given the source, that the information is accurate. But from what I'm told, on Calypso, it doesn't matter what you hunt. You just hunt anything, and there's a chance that a 20th anniversary item will drop. However, for the Planet Partner specific items on other planets, it apparently has to be a very specific mob. So apparently it's not just like a general loot pool thing. Apparently, on the Planet Partner side, excuse me guys, to loot the Planet Partner 20th anniversary items, it has to be mob specific. So there may only be one mob on the entire planet that has a 20th anniversary item in its loot pool somewhere waiting to be discovered. Now again, I don't know if that information is 100% accurate. I also have no idea which mob to hunt on which planet. That information I was not given, because obviously that would not be very smart for a Planet Partner to give me that information. But from what I understand, if I'm understanding correctly, on Calypso you can pretty much hunt anything. But on the Planet Partner side, to get one of the Planet Partner specific items, it would have to be a very specific mob, which does kind of make sense, but then it makes you question, okay, which mob? High level mob? Mid level mob? Low level mob? Popular mob but very high maturity? One of the reasons that I switched from FAL over to Thorofoid, as you guys might have noticed, is A, Codex, B, long-term goals, which I talked about in my last video. But when you're talking about these 20th anniversary items, you do have to look at the max TT value versus partial TT value that you're likely to get in a loot and what you're going to actually be able to pull off. With FAL only having 100 HP, I'm not going to get very big loots out of FAL. It's just not going to happen. And because of that, even if I was to have something, let's say at 1% of its TT value drop, it would be an insanely low value number. So take the improved Justifier Twin, for example. Max TT value is 1,000 ped, right? However, whenever one was actually looted off of a Drone Elite, the value of it when it was looted was 90 ped. So it was 90 ped filled, and then you would have to take it to a trade terminal or a repair terminal and repair it the other 910 ped to get it to that max TT. So whenever it was actually looted, the one that was looted, it was only, what, 9% of the full TT value, and that was 90 ped. So even at 1%, that would be 10 ped. Well, that's the global threshold for a FAL, is 10 ped. So assuming that I globaled on a FAL, and that global was exactly 10 ped, which is the threshold, and an improved Justifier Twin was the one and only thing that dropped in the loot, that means that the Justifier would have to drop for me at 1% of its TT value. That's very, very unlikely. So if I can hunt pretty much anything bigger than FAL, I automatically increase my chance, assuming that the Justifier is not limited specifically to Drone Elite, assuming that the Justifier is indeed part of the loot pool for every single mob out there. I don't believe that's necessarily the case. I believe that you would have a much better chance of looting it from a Drone Elite, since that's where the first one dropped. I believe that there's a twin item in the loot pool for virtually every mob. I don't believe they have their own algorithm specifically for 20th anniversary items. However, just in case that they do, it's probably a good idea to hunt something with a little bit more than 100 HP, which is why I switched over. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to go hunt FAL. I'll go knock back some FAL, later today just because I can knock out, 5 foul in the time it takes me to knock out 1 Thorfoid. Actually, I can probably knock out more than 5. So it's a numbers thing. I can just knock out a sheer number of foul so high that alone will theoretically increase my chances of getting a 20th anniversary item. Doesn't mean I will. It could work exactly the opposite. So far, we've seen a lot of 20th anniversary items only dropping from creatures with very, very large HP. So I could have it completely backwards. However, given the setup, given that it's quote-unquote loot it by hunting absolutely anything, then obviously the more kills I can get in per hour, theoretically the better chances I would have. So I know there's a lot that you can unpack there. There's a discussion to be made for it both ways, an argument to be made for it both ways. But so far my plan has been go with number of kills per hour. And right now I'm trying to more or less stick with that while also going with creatures big enough to potentially produce a high enough loot to get a decent 20th anniversary item. I would be really upset if I lose one of those 20th anniversary Apollos, however the heck you pronounce it. That would not necessarily be something that would make me happy. That would more or less just make me mad. So there's a reason to my madness. There's a method to my madness. The big thing I wanted you guys to know, hopefully before you go into space, that the tokens for Unreal are now tradable player to player. They can be bought and sold off auction. That also means that they're lootable in space. So if you take them into space, take them at your own risk, because if you get shot down and looted, it's going to be on you. So that said, there's a lot more to cover for the 20th anniversary thing. There's a lot more to this version update, I'm sure. I'm sure in the coming days we will find out more information. I've also got other videos planned for you guys for later this week, so I'll get some of those pumped out. I'm going to leave it there for now. My sleep quality has not been great. I have not been getting much sleep, and the sleep I do get has not been that amazing. I'm also still dealing with a horrendous nightmare in real life that just has not ended yet. In fact, I was talking to somebody yesterday. I was like, when this is just over, I will be so absolutely happy. And they agreed, because it's just an absolute living nightmare. So I've got a lot going on, stressed to the max, you guys can imagine. But I will keep trying to pump the videos out as often as I can. I will try and be online as often as I can. If you guys need me, shoot me an email at sbraggs62@gmail.com. That's sbraggs62@gmail.com. That's the best way to get a hold of me. If you want to help support us, head over to earnped.com, because when you earn, we earn. That's by far the best way you guys can support us. And when you log into your EarnPed account, just use the links on the website to go over to hideout.tv. Hideout will see that you came from EarnPed, and will add EarnPed as a drop-down option for redeeming your points. Be sure and hit the like button, because there's always a hater waiting to hit the dislike button when we upload a video. Hit the bell icon so you know when we post new content, and be sure and subscribe to the channel, because when you do these 3 things, it tells YouTube to give us more exposure. It puts our videos in front of people who are interested in real cash economy gaming, people who are interested in PC gaming, MMOs, sci-fi MMOs, all kinds of good stuff. And that may be the very first time that person is ever exposed to Entropia. Happens all the time. I get messages from players all the time that started off just seeing our videos on YouTube, never heard of the game before, and then 6 months later they end up in Icarus. They've downloaded the game, now they're playing, now they're part of the community, now they're part of the economy. That person may very well end up buying something off you off auction someday, and the only reason they're in game to begin with is because when you hit that like button, when you subscribe to the channel, YouTube gave us more exposure, and they ended up seeing the video because of you. So it doesn't just help us, it helps you, it helps the game, it helps the economy, it helps the community. It's just good for everybody, so do it. We'll leave it there for today. Sip, sip, smack, smack. You all know the rest. Take care, Stevies.